Hello, and welcome to another Contemplative Living. This is where we get a chance to talk about concepts that bring contemplative living into our everyday lives. And today, first, Spirit once said to me, we cannot live our whole life in a bubble. To effect real change, we must see the world and our community clearly. And in order to do that, we need to really be clear. We need clarity in our lives, and we need to keep our minds sharp. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about sharpening our minds.
Welcome to Contemplative Living, where we view contemplations for the week to have a better understanding of our spiritual paths. This is Contemplative Living with Dave Bennett, contemplations and reflective meditations.
Okay, well, I know I still look a little scruffy, but I am trying to raise awareness for lung cancer awareness. My charity of choice is Longevity Foundation because they focus on lung cancer research. And those of you that know my story know that I survived stage 4 lung and bone cancer. It was very severe. And so it's a passion of mine. So every November, I tend to do the No Shave November and donate to Longevity Foundation. So that's enough. And they are not a sponsor. They do nothing for other than provide research for lung cancer. Okay, so enough of that. Enough. It sounds like PR, doesn't it? Okay, so today we're here to talk about sharpening the mind. And this is something that, as we get older, we really get concerned with, I'm not as sharp as I used to be, So let's talk about some ways of maintaining some clarity, maintaining some focus in our lives. So technology tends to make us impatient and forgetful because we rely on the technology to be our memory. And so let's build our attention span back up. I know I'll tell you, I am as guilty as the next guy. My phone is my memory. It holds everything that I need, my schedules, my to-do lists, my shopping lists, my everything, because I'll go to the grocery store and I'll forget exactly what it is that I walked in the door for except if I have my memory. So what happened? We used to rely on, we used to have multiple phone numbers memorized and things like that because we didn't have the auto dial like we have on our phones now. So what do? We can't give up technology. Come on, we got to keep moving forward, right? So I'm not saying, but once in a while to unplug is not a bad thing. I try to do it a couple times a year, one at a retreat here in Virginia Beach, and then another one, we used to have it in St. Louis, but since COVID we haven't had it. But those were periods of time where I could just unplug and step away from the technology for a little bit because I found, it really stimulates our brain cells to kind of step away from it a little bit and just rely on our memory, rely on our sense of purpose. So it's a good thing to just kind of step back from it now and then. But you got to also realize, technology is a two-edged sword. It may make us forgetful or reliant upon it, but also there are times when we have to delve into the technology, learn a new technology. And in that case, the technology is actually then stimulating our brain, stimulating those neurons so that we are expanding our consciousness to a certain degree. But our mind is dense with thoughts. It's dense with thoughts, emotions, and cognitive content. But when we focus on the breath, it narrows, gets sharper, and is more precise. Now we've all, heard the adage, take a breath. Well, it's a wise old thing, When we take a breath, we tend to find ourselves centering and focusing. And that's what it's all about. Sometimes we need to take a step back, take a breath, and then get into it. I like to, when I'm working on things, and a lot of times it is on technology. I do a lot of stuff online, but I also do a lot of stuff in the shop, and using my creative nature and listening to spirit and the guidance that it gives. But sometimes, we get so dense with all the stuff, I got to do this, I got to do that. And all those thoughts, those that just are constantly bombarding us, that monkey mind, as Jung used to call it. Well, when we're in that state, when we've lost our focus, taking a breath and then really bearing down and doing an interval of intense focus work can really help. You imagine, once you take that breath, center, and then get to it, it really does help us to, get back into it. Sometimes we have deadlines looming, and we got to get it done. Well, that's where we just have to bear down and get to it. And when we do that, it helps our mind. It helps sharpen the mind, and so that we are totally present in the moment doing our work. Our mind is increasingly capable of becoming aware of just a thin sliver of experience presenting itself in the present moment. So when we are focused, and we're focused on our work, we're focused on a project, we're focused on some creative endeavor, there's a sliver of presence in the moment. There's a sliver of greater awareness that's available to us. Yeah, that's something that we're capable of. And it's an incredible gift that we have available to us. But we have to focus on it. And so take a breath, get into it, and then notice how when you're in the flow of your work, of your creative endeavors, how there's an expansiveness, there's that presence of the experience. So, how else can we sharpen the mind? Take time. Take the time for stillness. Stillness exercise brings clarity. I do it every morning. Every morning, and even before this podcast, I take a second to get still, focus, so that I can come out full throttle and just go to it. But that moment of stillness allows my mind to connect with my body, to connect with my essence, my true nature, and bring all of that to bear. And so I come out of stillness with an increased level of awareness and an increased level of productivity to be able to move forward. Another way of doing it is enhance your ability to your body's ability to communicate using exercise. I used to love Tai Chi because it's like meditation and movement. And but yoga is another amazing mind expansive type of exercise. I go to the gym at least 3 times a week, and when I come out of the gym, I am revitalized. And there's a sense of focus, a sense of purpose, a sense of drive that helps me by exercising. And in that sense of exercise, whether it's Tai Chi, yoga, going to the gym, running, you connect with your body. You connect with that intelligence that resides within our cells. We have multiple sensing areas within our body. We have our mind, of course. We also have our heart. We also have our gut. And all of these in unison are a powerful tool of increasing our cognitive ability, because within us there's a cellular memory that's there to allow us, and there's an expansive awareness that's outside our body and our outer bodies that helps us to navigate through our world. So use exercise to help you in sharpening the mind and finding clarity. If we don't have clarity, we tend to try to make up for it with confidence. Yeah, I'm guilty of that, I have to say. But confidence is not a substitution for clarity. We need clarity. And so all these things that we've been talking about, to help us to gain a greater sense of clarity, a greater sense of focus and presence, those are what creates a true confidence. A true confidence comes from knowing who we are, where we come from, our true essence, our true nature, and knowing our body, knowing what we're capable of. And then when we forge forward, we have the confidence that it's not a false confidence, it's just who we are, our authenticity. That's true confidence. And so we have no control over what confronts us when we step out the door. We just don't. We don't know what's outside. We don't know what's waiting for us. We can get small glimpses, and our guidance can help us with that. But our best tool to help us when we step outside the door is our clarity of mind. When we have that sense of purpose, when we have that sense of knowing who we are and carrying that authenticity and that clarity of focus with us, we're unstoppable. We can achieve what our purpose is. It's within our grasp. But we need to focus. We need to be there. Good morning. Good morning, William. I'm glad to see you're here. And so take the time. Take a breath. Do some interval intense work. Exercise. Practice stillness. Bring all these tools to bear to sharpen your mind so that you can step out into the world with that confidence of being an authentic being that's connected to your inner nature, your true nature. And I hope that helps you in the coming weeks. We have the holidays coming up, and those are always hectic times, and they tend to pull us off center. So if we sharpen our minds and we stay focused, we can have an amazing experience. I hope you have a blessed week. Good morning, JR. I'm glad you were able to join us as well. And I hope you have a blessed week and that life treats you gently. Namaste.